Newcastle on Boxing Day, and Rafa always gets a good reception when he returns to Anfield. I just wonder what that kind of reception tells you about the standing given to a manager, the kind of respect and the affection that he's held in as well when a manager delivers success at this club.
Oh, I think this club is famous to not to forget. All the supporters of this club is famous to not to forget people who did an outstanding job here. It's not only Rafa, but it's Rafa, and especially because he's still in the Premier League and from time to time around, living still here in the area, obviously became a proper Scouser, which is quite rare for a Spanish guy. I like him. He's a fantastic manager and a really good person. So I'm happy for him that he always gets this kind of reception. That's really, it's nice. It just shows, that obviously Liverpoolians don't forget that easy. So good for him. Very good.
In terms of this season's title race, twice when you've played before City this month, you've beaten Bournemouth and you've beaten Wolves, while they've gone on to lose at Chelsea and at home to Palace. What do you read into that?
Nothing.
Really?
Now, what do you read into that?
Well, I just wonder whether it's just a little different for City this season because now there's a little bit of pressure on them compared to last season.
You saw the 2 games they played against Chelsea? Yes. Didn't look like they felt a lot of pressure. They were outstanding in these games. And against Chelsea, if you don't finish off your situations, you can lose. That's how it is. But City was a clear better team that day. That was everybody from Chelsea as well. And Crystal Palace did an outstanding job, scored proper stunners or stunning goals, and that makes life always uncomfortable. Eh? So and then they didn't finish off, but not because of I couldn't see anything what you saw then maybe of that. So it's absolutely nothing. It's just football games. It's difficult to win football games these times, and so sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't work out. But I cannot see more in that than just that they were a bit unlucky in these 2 games, and that happens from time to time.
Well, are we looking then, as you kind of alluded to last week, I suppose, at a three-way title race? Because obviously Spurs moved back to within 6 points of you yesterday, and probably said quite a bit about the threat that they'll pose as well, the way they did that.
Oh, look, it's you make these stories, not you alone, but you in the room. You make these stories about who is in, who is out. I saw the game yesterday against Everton. It was, of course, with a goal which didn't count, and then the first goal of Tottenham. That was a situation which Tottenham obviously needed yesterday because Everton played absolutely more than okay in the first couple of minutes, but then they hit pretty much everything. It was then really impressive how Tottenham did. So that the same can happen or will happen to Chelsea, to Arsenal, all that stuff. There's no decision is made. That's how it is. Why should it be? Nobody can feel safe. Nobody should feel out of the race, whatever. That's it's just not. It's not a time to think about it actually. And for me, they were never out. So how? Why should everyone surprised that they are in now again? So it's just a fantastic football team, and they had. I said a few times. For me, Tottenham had the most difficult summer period, and I don't talk about not signing players, because if you have the right team, why you should sign players. It's just because 8 or 9 players played the full World Cup nearly, and playing so far such a season is more than impressive, and that's the situation. So yeah, a lot of teams are in whatever you call the title race, and that's how it should be, and that's maybe the only difference to last year when pretty much nobody was in anymore at this time, and that's good for all supporters out there.
It felt like a pretty good weekend for Liverpool, at least on the whole, I would guess. Probably more good news in terms of players coming back as well.
Who was out?
Well, Trent.
Yep. is back in training, full training. We will see. Yeah.
Naby got a few bumps and bruises, didn't he, against Wolves?
Nothing new yet. That because it's pretty early today. Nobody said to me so far that he cannot train. I would expect him back in training today.
I think probably more longer term in terms of Joel and
Oh yes, no news on that front. They are still out. Yeah, no,
fresh injury worries.
not yet. Yeah, yeah.
This sort of time last year, I think you'd sort of almost done your big transfer business. So now we're getting to January. Are you happy with what you've got? Are you expecting to bring more in?
No, I'm very happy with that, what I've got and what I have. But it's how was that? We don't know. That's the only thing. The only little bit why I keep the door open, because if some things happen, then we need to have a look. A few more things happen, then we need to have a look, because there are coming monstrous number of games still, and that's really important that we always can react. But as long as we can react, it's all good. But how I said, if then something will dramatically change, then we need to have a look. That's all. If nothing happens, then I would say we will not do anything.
Juliet?
With Virgil, Jurgen, because it's been 12 months around now, is he made more of an impact than you thought he would do? And also the way that people talk about him, is he one of the most influential players that you've worked with?
He's very, very, very influential. That's really good. I'm happy about. When I met him first, I thought I knew about his personality. Do you feel something like that? What kind of guy is sitting in front of you? So I was pretty sure that he will be like he is actually. And on the pitch, we have to say that after what I heard now, the Tottenham game last October, when we conceded 4 goals, after that, before Virg came in, we started already defending much better, conceded much less than already, and then Virg came in on top, and yes, that helped, of course. But I was always, how I said, I have no problem with giving all the compliments and all the credit to the boys. That's really like that. I only know that the game doesn't work like this. You bring in one player and that doesn't change anything if the rest is not improving as well. So we improved as a team. That's true, and he's a massive factor in that. That's for sure as well. So hopefully it can stay like this. That's all.
Kevin, obviously you prepare your team to win every match, but as we hit the halfway point of the season, how much has the start of the campaign exceeded your expectations, if not your ambition?
Oh, can't really. How did you say it? How much did it?
How much has the first half of the season exceeded your expectations?
So it cannot really, it cannot really do that, because I have not a lot of expectations. That I think too much and too long ahead. That I think, okay, what can we all do? And I really expect that we do as much as possible to win a football game from the start. I knew about the potential of my team, but you didn't, of my boys, but I didn't know exactly how that all will work together. So that's why you don't think until December or something like that when you start in June. But of course, being unbeaten in the league until December is not something what I had so often in my life. So did I expect that? Not really. Did I think about any defeat when I thought in June? No, not about one. So it's just how it is. We have to. We did really well so far, and we have to do even better from now on, because you can see it. All the other teams are doing really well as well, and that's the challenge for us. We have to be focused. But we always said at the end of the season we want to be as successful as possible. And in this moment, it looks quite positive, but only in this moment. So now we have to make sure that it stays like this. That's all.
And how much of a positive do you think, particularly second half of the season, you know, injuries, suspensions, the amount of games you've got? You've got an awful lot of versatility in the squad in terms of not just the depth, but players like James Milner can play in any midfield position, left back, right back. You've got a lot of numbers in midfield, but they can play in different positions. There's variation at the top end of the pitch as well.
Yes, but we don't have that many options anymore because we have already two injured centre halves, so that immediately limits everything. So we talk always when we talk about this after that, and something happens. So it's like this: you have exactly 2 weeks in a year. You have the problem that you have too many players to make a proper squad because you think, okay, and now I have to disappoint him. I have to disappoint him. You think that the first time next week you have a completely different problem. So it's like it is. It's not. We are not that versatile. Yeah, Millie can play 5 positions, maybe 6 or 7. If he played as well offensive wing when he was younger, and so that's not a problem for him as well. Yeah, there are not a lot of players who can play that many positions, but it's cool to have him. It's cool to have all the others. That's how it is. The situation is really okay, but it's so difficult. We play now Newcastle, and at 8:30 this morning, we had analyze meeting. You see them, so that's the next big challenge. Huh? So not 100% sure which system they will play, but it looks so far like it's could be again a 5-4-1. So which means you have to be patient, you have to be lively, you have to try to create, you have to be 100% aware of their counter threat, because that's massive. They cross a lot. They have Rondon in the box. So there are a lot of things you have to think about. That's football. That's what I'm thinking about, and not the general situation. How did we play, and what did we reach, and what can we achieve? That's not interesting in that moment. We really think about Newcastle, and when that game is finished, then we can sleep twice, and then Arsenal stands in front of us. They are on their bikes from 7 in the morning to 11 at night time. So they are really ambitious as well. So that's the situation. All the rest are only stories which maybe you want to and you can think about, but believe me, I don't think a second about January or February. I think about Newcastle. So, and that's all what is in my mind. And as long as the boys can follow me on that path, and you don't disturb that with asking constantly about what will happen when, everything can be fine.
Yes, Carl?
Okay, James Milner's the only player playing in the squad who's won a Premier League title, but how important is the personality and the character of all the players as we sort of go into the second half of the season in terms of maintaining that momentum?
The only thing I know that all players who won the title one time, it was for all of them at one time, the first one. Yeah, I had. You don't know what is more important. Is it experience, or is it potential, attitude, desire, joy, completely being completely fresh, never had it before. But there's nothing. We don't know it. You absolutely don't know it. It's not important. So it's not. Experience is always good if you're young enough to use it. If you're 105 and if you experience it now, you got it. Then it's quite difficult to use it for football, for example. And that's why really we have to use all experience from the last game, especially from the last season and stuff like that. That's much more important. So, but character always is always very important. But these boys, there's no doubt about that in the squad, because we achieved in the past already big things, finals, good positions in the league, and that's we did that all together. And so so far we only did steps together, and that's what we have to do further on, and then we will see where it ends. That's it.
Okay, we're going to go from left to right across the two-back row. Glenn, anything from you?
Jurgen, Mohamed Salah's obviously scoring as usual. Do you think that there's more to his game this season in terms of his link-up play and he provided the assist for Virgil's goal?
Yeah, it's good. He had to adapt a bit to slightly different position. It's not that much different. It's but it is different from time to time, yeah. And we need him as link-up player as well. So that's a very important part of our game. But he is still with the desire and with the speed, and especially on the speed on the first few yards, he's just an impressive. A very important part of our finishing situation in general. How we prepare them, how we come in these situations. So yeah. Of course, he's young enough to involve a lot more things in his style of play, if you want. So it's not just speed, it's not just finishing, it's between the lines. There are a lot of things. It's keeping the ball, but you need your body for that, and that was the only problem Mo had a little bit at the beginning of the season. It's a part of his body was still a little bit. Was not perfect. So, and that's for footballers always. If you work in an office, when your shoulder is not 100%, if it's not your writing hand, then it should be okay. If you're a professional football player in this moment, it's just keeps 10-15% away, makes you still in his kind of world-class player. But we all knew that we have to wait for the moment when everything is fine, and that's already a few weeks ago, and so it's all good.
No? Adam, anything from you? No? Anything?
Just on that, I know you're a big fan and you're down pretty well. What's your making the job that he's doing at Newcastle? Because it seems like he keeps room for them even in difficult circumstances.
Oh yes, because he was still talking about Rafa. Yeah. So no, it's just he's outside. I know him really for a long time. I knew him before I came to Liverpool. And he did always brilliant jobs, very successful. He was at Napoli outstanding, one different thing. So that just makes him a special person. But it's I don't know too much about Newcastle. From time to time I read a little bit, and then I heard that nobody was really happy with the amount of money. They had to sign players, let me say like this, and so that's it. But Rafa is too experienced to carry that through a full season, and these emotions. So meanwhile, they are really settled. They have done a good moment result-wise. A difficult start. Meanwhile, they got it, and was always difficult to play against them. And Newcastle are here at home as well, so we know it will be a tough job. But the most important thing for us in these moments is really that we, with all the things, especially when you win a last game and you have to go. That's why I knew that the Wolverhampton game was a big challenge for us. Big challenge because playing against United, winning a few days before against United, before that against Napoli. So if you want the big stages and going to Wolverhampton in not only players' mind and people's mind, it could drop focus a little bit. And I was really happy when I saw the attitude which we had for that game as well. And that's what we need: to stay angry, stay greedy, stay really in the job, and that's what we have to do against Newcastle again. That's now the third time probably where I play against a back five. So, but still always different. So we need to adapt to the different things they offer or us or have in their game. So that's all. And Rafa, with all his quality, of course, organize a defense pretty well, and that's. It's not so cool, good for him, not so good for us, but we still will try to beat it.
Okay,